Prime Minister Narendra Modi has taken Toronto by storm. Once again, NRIs laid out the red carpet for Modi at the RICO Coliseum. In fact, in his address to the Indian diaspora, Modi highlighted the role of the Indo-Canadian community in nation building and strengthening bilateral ties. Modi evoked Canada's relations with his home state of Gujarat to underscore the depth of the tie. Prior to Prime Minister's address, Indians in Canada prepared a cultural program to match that of Madison Square Garden in New York. Modi emphasized the work done by his government in the last 10 months. He also used the stage of the RICO Coliseum to level political scores. The Prime Minister said that India is now the skill development, in fact, is known for its skill development as opposed to its notoriety for scams earlier. Now, after receiving a rousing welcome for the Indian diaspora in Toronto's RICO Coliseum, Modi, in his address, thanked Canada and described it as India's perfect partner.
मैं कनाडा के प्रधानमंत्री, कनाडा की जनता, उनका हृदय से धन्यवाद करता हूं। मैं गुजरात में मुख्यमंत्री रहा कई वर्षों तक और मुख्यमंत्री के कालखंड में मैं एक वाइब्रेंट गुजरात इन्वेस्टर समिट करता था। 2003 में पहली बार किया, पूरी कल्पना नहीं थी और मैं आज गर्व से कहता हूं कि कनाडा वो देश है जो 2003 से गुजरात का पार्टनर कंट्री बना। एक डेवलप कंट्री के लिए किसी देश के एक छोटे से राज्य के साथ पार्टनर कंट्री बनना, ये निर्णय छोटा नहीं होता है, लेकिन कनाडा ने वो निर्णय किया और अब तक निभाया है। लोग जब छोटे थे तो सिनेमा का एक गीत सुना करते थे, देख तेरे संसार की हालत क्या हो गई भगवान, कितना बदल गया इंसान। उस समय एक पीड़ा थी, व्यथा की बात थी उस गीत में। मैं आज उस गीत को नए रूप में देख रहा हूं कि इंसान बदला है। उस समय पीड़ा थी, कितना बदल गया इंसान, और मैं आज गर्व से कहता हूं कितना अच्छा बन गया इंसान। हमारे देश में कई समस्याएं हैं, लेकिन उन समस्याओं का समाधान एक ही जड़ी बूटी में है। सब दुखों की दवाई एक ही जड़ी बूटी है, वो जड़ी बूटी मोदी नहीं है, वो जड़ी बूटी, उस जड़ी बूटी का नाम है विकास।
Now, Prime Minister in his speech in Toronto also managed to convert his saffron wave into a politically correct revolution. In fact, saffron, a color usually associated with the Sangh Parivar, will soon be the color of the energy revolution of a mission to bridge the power deficit, handicapping the country's infra push. All part of 4 revolutions listed by Modi during his speech: white for milk production, green for eco-friendly measures, blue for water and sky.
कनाडा के मैं चतुर्रंगी क्रांति करने का सपना देख करके चल रहा हूं। चतुर्रंगी क्रांति का सपना देख रहा हूं। सैफ्रॉन, केसरिया रंग। अब कुछ लोगों को तो केसरिया रंग का अर्थ भी मालूम नहीं है, वो अपनी मनमर्जी वाले अर्थ करते रहते, वो उनका काम करते रहे। सैफ्रॉन कलर ये ऊर्जा का रंग है, एनर्जी का रंग है। सूर्य का 7 घोड़ों का रथ देखते तो सैफ्रॉन कलर का दिखाई देता है। ये ऊर्जा क्रांति करनी है हिंदुस्तान में, और इसलिए न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी, सोलार एनर्जी, विंड एनर्जी, बायोमास से बनने वाली एनर्जी, एनर्जी सेविंग, इन सारे विषयों को एक साथ चलाया है।
And for more on this story, we are joined in by Deputy Editor Smita Sharma. Morning, Smita. You know, it's very clear that wherever Modi goes, in whichever country he actually goes, he carries out such events. And particularly in Canada, it assumes, similar proportions as Australia and the United States, simply because of the huge Indian presence or the NRI presence in that country.
Absolutely. Good morning, Sanket, and to our viewers. And maybe I should also start asking you Kemcho these days, Sanket, given, of course, the usage of this phrase as to how are you by Mr. Modi everywhere that he goes. And you're right, the Indian diaspora in Canada, if you were to look at the sheer numbers, it's almost 12 lakh. And most of the immigrants, in fact, who went in from India to Canada were from states like Gujarat, of course, which Mr. Modi has a native connection with, and also Punjab. But, frankly, Sanket, while, of course, there is a lot of energy, enthusiasm, there are those rousing receptions that we get to see. What is slightly disturbing to me is the fact that the Prime Minister has been increasingly converting each of his, in fact, overseas rallies into a political domestic rally. Taking jibes at previous governments, speaking out things like कि जो उनको गंदगी करनी थी वो चले गए, अब हम सफाई कर रहे हैं. It was a scam India which we are making into a scheme India. One would expect a little more grace and perhaps some humility in trying to take credit for all achievements that India has seen over the years. At the end of the day, if the Prime Minister, in fact, is talking about nuclear energy today, let's not forget that the nuclear isolation didn't end overnight. It were successive governments that led to it, or of the fact that, if he's taking credit for the Mangalayan project, he needs to remember that which was the government that really went ahead and sanctioned it. So while, yes, the Indian diaspora, of course, is much excited to listen into Prime Minister Modi and, all those Modi chants that you get to hear during his speeches, be it, of course, in Madison Square or in the Ricoh Coliseum. But one would perhaps expect now him to, in a way, not to make every one of these rallies into a political one.
Absolutely. Every rally has been converted into a political rally. But Smita, let's face it, he's a politician and he's doing what he does best, in classic Modi style. Just take us through those those 4 revolutions that he's actually talking about, and the colors, and what do they actually mean, and what work is actually happening on those lines on the ground.
Look, in terms of India-Canada cooperation, remember we have, of course, bilateral diplomatic relations with the country since 1947 itself. And it's not like we've not seen high-level exchanges happen. The Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper was also here in 2013. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, in fact, was there in 2010, though under a multilateral summit. And this is like, the first standalone bilateral visit from an Indian Prime Minister that we are seeing in 42 years. That is, of course, definitely credit-worthy. And Mr. Modi there suggesting that, he wants to go in for the green revolution, that he wants to go in for the technology revolution, the saffron revolution in terms of clean energy that he was referring to. And there was that pause and that jibe also where he said that a lot of people don't even understand what does saffron stand for, because Canada has, in fact, one of the world's largest uranium resources, which of course India has been eyeing for, and now there has been that agreement to buy uranium from Canada. There was an existing civil nuclear cooperation that had been done by the previous government itself, and of course India now going in for increased uranium supplies for countries like, from Australia to Canada. In terms of solar energy, essentially it's energy and environment that, Canada is really hoping that India will be able to cooperate increasingly, and also the security issues there. Remember, during the times of the heights of the Sikh insurgency, in fact, we saw a lot of Sikh the rebel and terror outfits actually take shelter in Canada. Those issues also remain on the table as far as the bilateral agenda goes.
Absolutely. Smita, do stay on with us. In fact, a $254 million deal to procure Canadian uranium marks the beginning of an important chapter in bilateral relations and bilateral ties. Prime Minister Modi and his Canadian counterpart, Stephen Harper, announced the historical uranium pact at a joint address in Ottawa on Wednesday. Canada will be supplying 3,000 metric tons of uranium to India for a period of 5 years under the safeguards laid by the International Atomic Energy Agency, or the IAEA. The development makes Canada the third country in the world to export uranium to India after Kazakhstan and Russia. The deal comes 45 years after Canada banned exports of uranium and nuclear hardware products to India. In 2013, the two countries signed a nuclear cooperation agreement, clearing the decks for the fresh uranium deal.
The agreement on procurement of uranium from Canada for our civilian nuclear power plants launches a new era of bilateral cooperation. It also reflects a new level of mutual trust and confidence. Further, it will contribute to India's efforts to power its growth with clean energy.
The untapped trade potential between our countries is enormous. Canada has what India needs, and vice versa. To that end, I'm pleased to note that Cameco will supply Saskatchewan uranium for India's atomic energy program over the next.
Now, Smita is still with us. Smita, this is, Modi is claiming, a historic deal between Canada and India. But, of course, if you could take us through, what exactly is it actually going to do? Which sector is it actually going to focus on? Number one, of course, Canada is exporting or giving this, uranium supply for, the civil nuclear reasons. That is perhaps for the energy sector. And that is why Modi went on and said at that rally of Indians, NRIs, that, we are entering into this historic agreement because it is eventually going to lead to something called a saffron revolution. That is the revolution for power. Just take us through India's power needs and how this particular uranium deal is actually going to help India.
Well, Sanket, in fact, India is at the crossroads where it has to take that massive plunge, because we have the Paris Climate Change Conference coming up at the end of this year, where really, there will be a lot of pressure on India and China from most of the developed countries to cut down on their carbon emissions. Because given the fact that we are a developing nation, that most of our industries, factories are still based, of course, on coal, that leads to heavy carbon emissions. And, that is something that India needs to cut. But what is the alternate option then? That is where in fact nuclear energy comes into play, really, and that is the reason why the previous government, you saw Manmohan Singh push for these deals so much, at one point in fact even risking his own government and willing to resign. Now even in terms of Canada, of course, that civilian nuclear agreement was inked in 2013. There are administrative processes that need to be done. India's own nuclear liability, of course, law has been acting as a hurdle, as one of the experts was mentioning. Countries like France, 70 to 75% of their energy needs are really met through nuclear energy. I was having this discussion the other day with some experts whether nuclear energy is a cheap enough option for a country like India, where we are not looking at a homogeneously developed strata, that there is a heterogeneous strata with people of all classes and masses. But at least for the industries, really, nuclear energy can be a much safer, cleaner option. And uranium comes in because uranium is required, of course, uranium is essentially processed by your nuclear reactors to give you that energy. India, of course, has been entering into all these agreements. When Modi was in France, in fact, we saw that inking the finalization of the agreement in terms of the French company Areva coming into India to bring those 6 nuclear reactors, build them in Jaitapur, which are supposed to generate some 10,000 megawatts of energy over the years to come. Something, in fact, that is being objected to by one of BJP's own alliance partner, Shiv Sena itself. There are other nuclear reactors, of course, that are being built. Rosatom of Russia, or GE and Westinghouse of the US. These are all companies that want to come into India because they know the Indian nuclear energy market is a huge one, and that's why Canada also stands to benefit right now by going ahead with that sale of uranium to India. Sanket?
Absolutely, and that is why perhaps Modi has very, because he's a master at this, he has put a sort of a revolution. He calls it a revolution. He says that this is going to be the saffron revolution that is going to lead to more power, greener power, and then eventually perhaps more development. As he said, that the magic potion is not Narendra Modi, it is development. So a lot happening there as far as these bilateral visits are concerned, particularly the last leg when he was in Canada, where there has been a major energy boost in Canada, the deal that has been struck. Thanks very much, Smita Sharma, for joining us with all the latest. We'll, of course, keep coming back to you to understand what impact these deals are actually going to have